Hi everybody, this is Mike with WorldWar2Revisited.com. I hope you'll visit me and my content in all these different places. We've got Facebook, Instagram, a YouTube channel, and then of course the blog itself at WorldWar2Revisited.com. For today's topic, we're going to be talking about different dog tags that were issued during World War II. Don't be distracted by G.I. Joe behind me there. We're going to talk about him in another installment. First up, here's a set of German tags from the war. German tags were metal discs that were designed to be broken in two when the soldier was killed. Half of the tag would stay with the soldier, the other half would go back to his unit administration to account for his passing. They were typically made of zinc, sometimes aluminum. You'll see some here are intact, some were already broken off. It was usually worn with a leather lanyard around the neck and sometimes with a little pouch over the disc itself so that the soldier didn't have a cold metal disc against his skin, which you can imagine, especially on the Eastern Front in wintertime. Sticking with the Axis powers, I have two examples here of Italian dog tags. And they came in a couple of different colored alloys. I have quite a bit of information on them, including birth date and the soldier's hometown. Very nice tags that are a little bit more complete than some of the others you'll see later on in the collection. This here is a Japanese tag, which is probably one of the prettier ones. This particular one is made of brass. The Japanese tags have quite a bit of information as well in terms of having the soldier's name, the division of the military, Army, Navy, etc., what kind of unit it was. In this case, this is a artillery officer, had the rank, of course, in this case a lieutenant, and then gives you a little bit more information as far as the unit goes. Yet another Axis tag is this Hungarian piece. The little perforations on the grid gave information about the soldier, but it's also interesting in that it opens up as a locket and allows the soldier to put information inside, pieces of paper, whatever you may like. There were a number of countries that actually used this kind of approach. Fairly simple and easy to use. This two-piece disc that is also made to be broken in half is Finnish. So very simple in that it only has one piece of information, and that's the soldier's identification number. So again, if the soldier were killed in battle, you snap it in half. Half remains with the soldier, the other half goes back to the unit. And nothing on the reverse side. This here is a French identification piece. The French opted to use a bracelet instead. So this is not the kind that you would typically think of that's going around the neck. It is again a two-piece design meant to be broken in half. This one happens to be intact. And when you look at them, there's information on both sides. So regardless of what half you happen to get, you have all the information that you would need. Now, I'm going to show these together because they're very much similar. This is a British tag set. This one is Canadian. You'll notice that they're not made of metal like all of the others. These are actually made out of a pressed fiber, sort of like a condensed cardboard. Makes them very lightweight, which is great. And of course, they're not sharp. You don't have to worry about them getting really cold. But there is one very big problem. They don't survive in fire. So in particular for their armored forces, tank crewmen, etc., which unfortunately when a tank is hit by a shell, it's often destroyed by fire, these would be completely consumed and then the bodies not be able to be easily identified. So this kind of fiber tag eventually was replaced with something more durable in that scenario. If you take a quick look at the details, if you can see them, you'll see little things like the British tag CE, the Church of England. So you've got religious information on these tags. This one here actually has CDN, meaning this particular soldier was a Canadian. They were very often just found on basic pieces of string just like this. This, which does not look like a dog tag, obviously, right? This is a Bakelite tube that was issued by the Russians, the Soviet Army. and it just merely spins open, has a little gasket to it. And the idea was the soldier put whatever he wanted in there. The Russians did not put a whole lot of effort into accounting for their people, which might not be all that surprising. Interestingly, though these were issued in great numbers, they were usually thrown away by the Russian soldiers, who called them death capsules, and their superstition said, well, we're going to throw this away because otherwise it's going to bring me bad luck, and held just by a piece of string as well. Lastly, I saved American tags, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So American tags have not changed very much over the years. A set had 2 tags, and what is interesting about World War II tags is that the chain and the clasp set itself here are sterling silver. This is not the case after the war, and certainly not when I was on active duty in the 90s, where they were replaced with just the cheap beaded necklaces that were not made of silver, certainly. When you look at the tags, the information hasn't changed all that much. You've got a name, you've got a serial number. The way that you could tell that a tag that's American is World War II is you take a look at the 2-digit date. That is the date of the soldier's tetanus shot. So in this case, 44. So you know you have a World War II tag. There is a little piece of folklore saying that this notch here was to be wedged in the dead soldier's teeth with the mouth open so that it would stay with the soldier. That is not at all true. This little notch just would hold the tag in place on the stamping machine when the tag was made. Just like with the other ones that break off, the idea here is that one tag would be recovered for administration, the other one would stay with the soldier after his death. And while we're looking at American equipment, this particular set here is a burial identification bottle set, and this is a genuine World War II leftover stock item. And these bottles, which are kind of hard to find and interesting in themselves, these bottles would be buried with American soldiers when they were in temporary cemeteries, for instance, maybe in the Pacific or some of the beaches even around Europe. If the body had to be interred temporarily, graves registration personnel of the U.S. Army would put information into this bottle and put it with the body, knowing that later it was going to be exhumed and placed elsewhere. So these bottles were designed to keep that information, which is typically just written on paper, to be safe and with the proper corpse so that it could be identified and that information recovered for later use. And you can see these come in a set of 3 with 3 more underneath, so 6 total. And that concludes our survey of World War II dog tags for today. Hope you can come and visit us elsewhere and on any of these channels, and then we'll also be having more information coming real soon. Had a little bit of delay for this installation just because I didn't get a chance to do it, real job and everything. But anyway, thanks so much for visiting. Hope you enjoyed the information.